We got the last one mounted. Got these boards shimmed out, so you can see we got about half an inch or so space, and it's the same on both sides. Just a little space right there, and it's all the same on the other side. Our spacing down here is good, and our spacing. This is Gordon. I'm going to start another project today on my boat. We had a terrible time getting this thing back on the trailer last time we had it out at night. We just had a lot of stuff in the boat, some extra weight, and this trailer never was set up properly. The boat just sits, gosh, it sits too high on the trailer, and it was way too much in the front. And you had to back the tow vehicle down into the water, and you had to get out and get your feet wet and climb in the boat, or back somebody else in the boat all the way down into the water, let them drive it off. But the trailer had to be so far in the water. I moved this winch thing back about a foot. This mark here is where it was mounted. I moved it back here, and I adjusted the height of this thing to fit good with that. So moving it back about a foot helps. The trailer might even be short for what it was originally designed for, because now these straps are at an angle. I'm going to try to shim these boards out a little closer, give myself about half an inch where they just snugly fit on both sides. But what I am going to do on this video is this piece of metal on the floor is square tubing I just drug off the floor in the garage. Looks like 1.5 inch without measuring it by 1/8 inch. What I'm going to do is on this beam on the trailer right here, I'm going to clamp that piece of metal underneath this thing and bring it out far enough, just the right width, and come straight up, and we'll put some pieces of PVC pipe on that as rollers. I'll do two, one on each side in the front, and I might do some more in the back here. I haven't decided yet. Just to get started, that's what this video is going to be about. Since I'm planning on using this beam right here, first thing I need to do is get a good measurement of the thickness of that beam. It's right at 3 inches. And looking at this, I'm going to say 1.5 inches, but I'm going to measure it. It's 1.5. So I'm going to need some U-clamps, some square U-clamps that are 2 inches wide on the inside, our 3 inches plus our 1.5 inches, plus our bottom plate. We're going to say a minimum of 5 inches for the U-clamp. I'm going to need more than 5.5. That's only going to give me, after the bottom plate, about 1/4 inch of thread, so we'll see 6.5. We've got catty-cornered here. We got a minimum of 2 inches of an ID pipe to go on that. I'll just have to bring a piece of 2-inch ID PVC pipe over here and try to slip it on that and see how it fits. If it's too tight, then I may have to improvise or do something different. Maybe grind the corners down a little bit on this metal. Hopefully not. Hopefully a piece of 2-inch pipe will fit over that. I got a piece of 2-inch PVC drain pipe here that fits like a glove on that. These edges are a little bit rough. They need to be trimmed, and it still slides right over that. It goes right on down, and very little slop and play. That'll roll on there. So that'll be a perfect cover for this once this is done. $78 3/4. 80 inches will make it a little bit tight. We'll go with probably 80. Maybe I should go with 82 inches, because a little extra space in between here is not going to hurt an inch or so. I'm going to set up this electric chop saw to cut that off. I got to mark it. I have it marked at 82 inches. So I'm going to go ahead and set the saw up and cut that. Since this is the piece I'm saving that I'm measuring off to use, it doesn't have to be exact on this job, but just for good practice, I'm going to make sure I can see my mark on this side of the cutting wheel. Under this end, I'm going to stick this box of trailer brake shoes and a piece of scrap wood. That'll give me good support, keep the thing holding still while I cut it. I'm going to measure it and see how close we are. 7 3/4, almost 8. 8 1/4, that's close enough for temporary. I got to figure out how high I want it now. "30 inches with it on the trailer." We're going to need it higher than that because the trailer is going to be underwater. We will go with, we'll just go with 4 feet. I'm going to weld those over the front of this. So that 4 feet, we'll add 1.5 inches to it. So we'll make it 49.5 inches on both upright pieces. Unless I change my mind before I get that far. Because I just want to cover the end of this off. Cover it like that. I'm going to weld that completely closed. I don't want any water getting inside of that at all. That'll be fine. Weld that completely closed, and this one on the outside will be hollow so it won't hold any water. Water will drain right out the bottom of it. Setting up to weld this thing. Once again, take your vice grips. In this case, it's just a vice grip clamp, but I twisted it and it breaks through the black stuff on the metal there. We're going to use, again, my 110 volt wire feed MIG welder. And I know you all that have seen my welding videos might think that's the only welder I have. I'm going to show you. I've got more. Here's a bigger 220, heavier duty. That's a Lincoln 250 MIG welder. That's a lot heavier duty. It costs more to run it, so I'm not going to use it. Over here, there's a great big Lincoln 250 on the DC side, 300 on the AC side, a big stick welder. I use that for heavy duty welding and for air arcing. I don't use those bigger machines for the simple reason most people don't have them at home. My shop is a little bit more advanced than most people's home shop would be, so the videos are to show people how to do things at home. So that's why I usually use that 110 wire feed welder, and when I need to, I will use the bigger ones. I'm going to just do a tack here, try to make sure everything is squared up good. And we'll check it for square. And I want it a little more square than that. That's good right there. The reason why it pulled it so far inside from square is because when the weld cooled down it shrunk, and so it pulled everything over this way. So that's why you only do a tack, and then you check it for square. And if you're okay with it, then you put another tack on some place like here, which is going to pull it back this way and keep this one from pulling it in. So now I'm ready to weld this side up in the back. It needs to be a watertight seal all the way around, watertight and airtight. I got a piece of scrap here, it looks like about 3/16 of an inch. 5 inches, a little over 5 1/8 inches. It's just a piece of cut off scrap or a drop from somewhere. Picked it up on my day job. I haul steel during the day, for those that don't know me. And since I weld at home, I find things and grab them from a cutter. Go clean this up on the grinder a little bit. Got my gussets made, all ground down, cleaned up, smoothed down, shaped, ready to install. We got it welded up. Measurements come out good, 82 inches across the top and the bottom, nothing warped. One thing I didn't do good, I didn't plan something out, I'm going to have to improvise. I don't have a good place for this to sit. So I'm going to have to put a flat spot around here someplace for this to sit on. I'll probably just take a couple of pieces of something flat and just put them one on each side here. Like that. Let it sit on those. This is where I'm going to mount that post, and I got to make these brackets, one top and one bottom, one for each side. I wanted to use U-bolts, but to get them the right size and the right shape, they were going to be kind of like special order. It's going to be like 10 bucks a piece, and I was going to need like 4 of them. So that's 40 bucks, and then next time something goes wrong and I got to replace them, it's special order again. So I thought I'll just use straight bolts, and I'll have to hand make these brackets. So I'm getting ready to make another one. I made 2, as you just saw, and I wasn't doing the video, but I am now just a little bit. I put this one up here and just hit it with a coat of spray paint. And I'm going to use that as a quick template to cut. I got to cut 2 more of these out. I'm going to spray these pieces because they are used old pitted rusty metal. I ground them down, smoothed them out pretty clean, but they got a long ways to go. They're still full of pits and rust. So this is I guess a copy of that stuff they call Extend that I think is made by Permatex. This is rust converter, clean strip rust converter. It's the same thing as that Extend, and I'm going to put a coat of this on there. Smells the same as that Extend. If it turns purple, then I'll know it's the same thing. I have to wait for that to dry for a little while and then turn it over. Sprayed this thing here with that rust stuff too, that product that seals rust and turns it into a primer that you can paint on. I sealed that thing up with it, that bar that we're going to put underneath. The directions say to wait 24 hours before top coating. I'm going to try to cheat and get away with it. It is warm out, so I'm hoping that the warm weather will, I'm going to cut that time in half and I'll paint it sometime in the morning. Some stuff I picked up at the local store. Self-etching primers, usually better than the regular. Since I'm not going to cap the ends of this thing, it's upside down. This is the end that'll be in the water when the trailer goes down in the water. I'm just going to spray down inside there pretty good ways, holding it off the end was on the floor, but I'm holding it up so that it goes out the bottom. Don't know how much will actually be in the bottom, in the water. The next guide I'm going to make, the front one's already made. The paint is drying on it. We'll put it on later after the paint dries. This one is going to mount right here, and it has got a little bit of an angle cut on the bottom of this pipe here, and the reason why, because when the trailer is down in the water, it's going to stand a lot closer to straight up depending on the angle of the ramp. And if I put it on straight, it's going to wind up way back here where it's going to be a little bit out of reach for me in the driver's seat. I have to reach behind me. So I'm going to do it like this, cut these two pieces out here at 45-degree angles. Of course, we will gusset this across here to give it a little extra support. Weld it onto this to bolt it straight down through this piece over here, because with the fender coming down at an angle, we won't be able to bolt it on back here, so we'll just have to put a little piece out here. And I might just run a bolt hole right through the top of this and out the bottom and bolt one straight through there. Since I'm not a regular fab shop, I don't have high-dollar cutting equipment. I just do more mechanic work here. Anyone that's been watching my videos can tell that. I do a little bit of fab work, I can do it, but I don't have all the good stuff. So I'm just going to show another little trick. I love this little piece of channel iron that I found somewhere. It makes a perfect welding table for most small jobs. So I got a square sitting on the table. We'll clamp this piece down here. And if I had high-dollar equipment, I wouldn't have to square it up a second time. It would already be square just by cutting it. So we're going to square this up with two clamps. Another thing I'm going to do to help me get the boat on the trailer is shim this out with a piece of green lumber, treated lumber. I'm going to take this off and put a piece of lumber about the same size, 2x4, between this and where this bolts down on. Have to drill the holes right through the piece I'm putting on there. That'll put this one maybe half an inch away from the boat in the front and maybe an inch away from it in the back. And it'll be the same on both sides, so that'll snug that up just a little bit, almost touching it. Here we are gluing the caps on the ends of the pipes. Put one more on the other side. We got the last one mounted. This one sits at an angle because it'll stand more or less straight up when the trailer's down in the water down like this and the boat's sitting there. It'll make that stand straight up more. It'll be out there in front of me a little bit when I'm sitting in the driver's seat, so I can just grab a hold of it to help guide me in. Of course, that's the plastic pipe that's going to sit on top of it like the other ones. I think we're all done. Got these boards shimmed out, so you can see we got about half an inch or so space, and it's the same on both sides. Just a little space right there. Our spacing down here is good. Our spacing up there is good. Everything is good underneath. I think this boat is ready to go on and off the trailer a whole lot better than it was when I bought it new. The dealer sure didn't know how to set it up. All right, thank you for watching.